Hello, everyone. Charles Watts here. Welcome back to Inside Arsenal. It is match day. It is Wednesday. It is North London Derby Day. I hope you're feeling well wherever you're watching this or listening to us around the world. I'm sure you got that same nauseating feeling that I probably have sitting here right now. Always the same way on a North London Derby Day. That sort of fear overrides the excitement until the full-time whistle. Got to admit, I can't stand today. It's just 2 games a season I could do without. I just want to know the result. Everything that goes before now and the full-time whistle, I could just do without. I just want to know the result, know that we've won, and then put it behind me and not have to think about playing that lot again for the rest of the season. But it's a huge game. Of course, it's a huge game on the back of what's been a really, really difficult and bruising and painful week for Arsenal. Exiting the FA Cup, teetering on the brink of exiting the Carabao Cup after those defeats against Newcastle, Manchester United. They've got a perfect opportunity to bounce back, put those games behind them, and really give themselves a shot in the arm today. No better way to do that than beating Spurs at the Emirates. So we're going to talk about that in today's show. We'll go through predicted 11, look at what Mikel Arteta has been saying ahead of the game, look at what some of you guys have been saying ahead of the game as well, look at the team news, the decisions Mikel Arteta's got to make in terms of who starts where. But there's plenty other things to talk about, which we'll start the show with today. And I thought we've got to obviously start with the big news that sort of broke around lunchtime yesterday by the brilliant Sammy Mokbel from the Daily Mail. If you're watching here on YouTube, you can see the story that Sammy put out just after midday yesterday, his exclusive for the Mail. Arsenal to land Real Sociedad midfielder Martin Zubimendi at the end of the season, which was an absolute bolt from the blue. I mean, we've known that Arsenal were very, very interested in Zubimendi. We know that Mikel Arteta has identified him for quite a long time as the midfielder he would love to bring in to Arsenal. But, you know, it did all quieten down a bit. We had the summer where it looked like he was pretty much certain to be going to Liverpool before he changed his mind at the last minute, decided to stay at Real Sociedad for another season. And now Sammy's story suddenly putting it into the limelight that Arsenal are on the verge of completing the signing of him. Not now, but in the summer. And he does have a £51 million release clause. Seems like Arsenal will be potentially or are willing to pay slightly more than that so that they can then stagger that. Rather than having to pay the whole thing up front, they're going to pay more, but they can stagger it over a few years. And that's certainly going to help with PSR and being able to, spend money elsewhere and that sort of thing. So my understanding on the situation, I mean, Sammy's absolutely spot on as always. I mean, you don't get many better reporters out there than Sammy. If you don't follow him, then you absolutely should. It's fantastic. The Daily Mail. And he's right. Arsenal are in talks and the deal is close for Arsenal to complete the signing of Zubimendi. Now, it hasn't been done yet. And so while it's not been done, it's impossible to sit here and say it's definitely happening. But Arsenal are in a very good position and we'll have to wait and see if it happens. Whether it gets announced, it'll be interesting if Arsenal can get this over the line and get it over the line like pretty much now. And we are at a very advanced stage with the talks. They can get it over the line. Is it something they will announce now? Kind of like, remember Liverpool did with Virgil van Dijk when they signed him from Southampton. I think they announced it in January that he was signing at the end of the season. And it'd be interesting if Arsenal can do that, sort of get it wrapped up, done and dusted, signed. And then you don't have to sort of have that nervous wait through between now and the end of the season in case someone comes in and bids higher and sort of manages to land him from under Arsenal's noses. But I mean, look, I've seen some people saying, oh, he's not a striker. He's not a striker. Of course, he's not a striker. But look, this is an area that Arsenal absolutely needed to improve and sign for next season. You've got to plan ahead. You can't just be thinking about January. You've got to plan ahead. We know that Mikel and the recruitment team, Jason Iso, Richard Garlick, flew over to the States in December. I reported that then to meet with the Cronkies to sort of map out and firm up their summer plans. Obviously, this was right at the top of the discussion. And it's something that Arsenal needed to do. They needed to plan ahead because, let's face it, Jorginho and Thomas Partey, the likelihood is both are going to go on a free transfer at the end of the season. And they're 2 of your 6s in your squad. So you can't just kind of let that happen and not plan ahead. And in Martin Zubimendi, if this deal gets done and over the line, Arsenal bringing in arguably the best 6 there is on the market and the 6 that lots and lots of clubs want to sign. And so it's a big coup for Arsenal, no doubt about it. It's an exciting signing. Yes, it doesn't help now, but it's definitely a very exciting signing if it happens. And again, I have to emphasize the word if because it isn't done yet. All the signals are and the signs are that these talks are going to come to a successful conclusion and he will sign. But I've already seen reports from Spain, obviously, sort of pouring a little bit of cold water on it, saying that he's fed up with the reports and he wants to just see out the season. Of course, that's going to be the public stance, but definitely Arsenal are in talks and this is close to being done, but it's not done yet. But let me know your thoughts on it, how excited you are about the potential of Martin Zubimendi arriving in the summer. Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. Okay, bad news confirmed yesterday. News we were all expecting, obviously, that Gabriel Jesus has done his ACL. Arsenal confirming that at 5 p.m. yesterday. The statement put out by the club, further to being substituted during our match with Manchester United on Sunday, Gabriel Jesus has received extensive assessments, scans and specialist reviews, which have confirmed he sustained an injury to the anterior cruciate ligament in his left knee. Gabby will undergo surgery in the coming days and will soon begin his recovery and rehabilitation process. We will continue to keep everyone updated with Gabby's recovery, with everyone at the club fully focused on supporting Gabby to ensure he's back to full fitness as soon as possible. So not unexpected news. We all, it was pretty clear from watching in real time. You could see immediately you thought ACL injury here, and then everything that's gone on since then has kind of reaffirmed that belief. Mikel's comments in the press conference yesterday, and now the full confirmation come. Awful for Gabriel Jesus, awful for Arsenal as well, awful for Arteta. On the back of Bukayo Saka's injury, Thumanieri's injury, they're absolutely down to the bare bones now. But, putting that all to one side, in terms of Gabriel Jesus, it's just dreadful. He's had such rotten luck with his knee in the last couple of years. Sort of battled back from the one he got in the World Cup. Had another operation after that, and now this has come to the other knee. It's just a real shame for him, and he's now facing up to 9 months to a year on the sidelines. And as a professional sportsman, and you want to play football, that's what you're paid to do, that's your job, and to not be able to do it for that long and to have that big rehab sort of program ahead of you, it's a real shame for him. And fingers crossed he can come back, the rehab goes well, he does get himself back, and he does get himself back playing at the top level again, because it's at 27 years old, I mean, it's not far from over for Gabriel Jesus, but it's a real hammer blow for him, and fingers crossed he can come back from it. I mean, from Arsenal's point of view, obviously the focus turns to finding a replacement for Gabriel Jesus, which is absolutely essential. They have to do it. Mikel, we heard yesterday talking in his press conference during the day about the need for it, and he was very open. And the first time I've really heard him basically admit, yes, we do absolutely need to sign someone. He spoke a little bit more in his embargoed section of the press conference, with the quotes went live last night at 10:30. If you haven't seen what he's had to say yet, this is what he said about signing a striker or a player this window. He said, we have very clear ideas of the players that we want. Yes, we had that before Gabby, and it was with Gabby injured right now, and we have to wait and see how things develop. He said, on Saka and Jesus both being out, he said, obviously we're losing two very creative, very important, very unpredictable players for us. So that has an impact on the team, that's for sure. Not for now, it is for the start of the window. And before the window, we were actively looking at what we can do to plan and improve the squad, impact the squad, and if we can. Obviously, the news of Gabby, that takes the scenario to another dimension as well, because the time frame will be longer. I mean, it's very apparent that Arsenal are going to have to go into the transfer market this month and bring in some more firepower up front. It was needed before Jesus' injury, but it's absolutely essential now. We'll wait and see what they do. Benjamin Sesko, a player we know they want. He is the guy that they wanted last summer, that they were going to put the money down for. He decided to stay at Leipzig for another season at least. Do you go in for him in January? Do you try and get that done now? If you are planning to go back for the summer, can you fast track it to this month? Do you have to pay an extra 5-10 million to get him out the door at Leipzig? Do you have to convince Sesko a little bit more to come now, and that you are going to be playing? Last summer it was pretty clear that he had reservations. He was going to find himself behind Kai Havertz, certainly at the start of the season. Do you have to make more assurances to him that you come in and you can be the starting number 9 now to get that deal over the line? Can you fast track something? That would be the ideal scenario for Arsenal. If you could if they had they don't want to just bring in bodies. Mikel said that before, but if there's a player who you want to sign, that is the ideal situation. So if you want Sesko, if the plan was you were definitely going to go back in for him in the summer, can you do that little bit extra now to get him through the door this month? We'll have to wait and see. The clock is ticking though. Still a couple of weeks left of the transfer window. We'll see what Arsenal do. Right, big game tonight because of what happened last night. Nottingham Forest won, Liverpool won. Really, really good game. I watched the last sort of half an hour. I was flicking through a few games yesterday. It was classic sort of Premier League night last night. Again, just summing up this season, Chelsea drawing, getting a last-minute equaliser at home after Bournemouth looked like they turned around a deficit to win at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea snatched a draw right at the end of that. Reece James free kick, 2-2. Man City threw away a 2-0 lead to draw at Brentford, 2-2. And Liverpool knocks Forest 4 out. A really, certainly the last sort of 25 minutes was really, really exciting because Liverpool threw everything at Forest. Forest looked absolutely exhausted. Murillo, what a performance that was from him. Matt Sells in goal as well. Liverpool in that after equalising, they hadn't really shown that much before equalising, but when Jota came on, equalised straight away, then Liverpool just sort of threw the kitchen sink at Forest. And I was convinced they were going to score because Forest looked so exhausted, but Matt Sells made save after save and kept them in it. And, for Arsenal, this is a big opportunity. I mean, you look at the league table now, Liverpool obviously 7 points clear of Arsenal, 6 points clear of Nottingham Forest. Arsenal can move to even 4 points of Liverpool today if they get that win against Spurs. Yes, Liverpool will have a game in hand, but remember that game in hand's away at Everton, which is not going to be easy. So this is a big opportunity for Arsenal. We've seen so far this season, they've not really taken advantage of the opportunities that Liverpool have given them. Whenever they've dropped points, Arsenal have tended to drop points. Can't afford for that to happen today. You can get 3 points on the board today, whatever way you do it. I don't care what the performance is. I don't care if people say it's going to be a boring game or if it is a boring game. I tell you what, I would take a scrappy 1-0 all day long tonight. I don't care how they win, just win. To move to even 4 points to Liverpool. And then that just starts to put a little bit of pressure. Liverpool have started dropping points recently. Is there a little bit of doubt creeping into their mind? If Arsenal can get close enough to them to just add to that doubt, it'd be really, really big. You look at Arsenal, they're obviously down to the bare bones tonight. We know that injury-wise. Seen some of the training pictures yesterday. Zinchenko's been linked pretty heavily with Borussia Dortmund at the moment. Actually, he was obviously in training yesterday. Kai Havertz, a lot of focus is going to be on him tonight, no doubt about it, after everything that's gone on since the Manchester United game and the comments that Mikel Arteta has made on him. Can he come on? Can he make the difference today? What better way to get yourself back into the good books of everyone than to score the winner against Spurs? I'd love Kai Havertz to score the winner tonight. It would be so satisfying if he could. Not that I care who scores the winner. Anyone can do it, but it would just be fantastic if Kai Havertz could score the winner today. Mikel Arteta, speaking about the derby, says it's probably the nicest game of the season to watch because of the atmosphere, because of what it means to our people, what it means to us and everybody involved in the game. This is something that is in our hands, for example. Let's create the best atmosphere that we have ever played at the Emirates. That's our objective. That's something that we control, the players, the staff, and everybody that turns up tomorrow. That is something that we can do. So let's do it. The atmosphere at the Emirates in the recent games, not surprisingly, because the football's been pretty turgid at times and the performances haven't been great. And we've sat there and watched missed chances after missed chances. It's hard to maintain a really good atmosphere in a stadium with all of that going on. But look, this is Tottenham. This is a North London derby. This is a huge game for Arsenal, especially on the back of what happened with Liverpool last night. So the atmosphere is going to be absolutely key. I'm in the stands today, so I'm not in the press box, so there won't be any live updates from me. I'm sitting with my dad in my seat. No way I'm going in the press box for a game like this. I can't wait to just be part of that atmosphere tonight. It's real. Hopefully it's going to be an absolute belting one. And Arteta's right. If we can create a massive atmosphere in the stands, then that is going to help the players at the moment. And the players need the help. There's no doubt about it. And really looking forward to what the sort of noise level is going to be today. Predicted 11 wise, obviously in attack, certainly there's basically 4 options. So you've got to leave one out. You've got to leave one of Martinelli, Havertz, Trossard or Sterling out. I've left Sterling out in my predicted 11. We'll see what happens. I didn't think Sterling was that bad when he came on against United. There was a few times when he did actually drive and get behind the United defence and show a little bit of intent to get to the touchline, which was good. End product wasn't really there, but I didn't think it was the worst Raheem Sterling performance I've seen in an Arsenal shirt. It's not saying much because there hasn't been many good ones, but I didn't think it was the worst. So I wouldn't be stunned if he started tonight, but I still think he'll probably go Trossard, Martinelli and Havertz. I've gone Raya in goal, Timber if he's fit, which is a big if, and I really, really hope he is fit. I really hope we don't have to see Thomas Partey playing at right back today. So fingers crossed on Timber. Mikel did say in a press conference yesterday, certainly hint anyway, that he should be okay, and it was just cramp that forced him off against Manchester United. So I've gone Timber, Saliba, Gabriel and Lewis Skelly as the back 4. Gone with that midfield of Partey, Odegaard and Rice. And then I've gone, like I said, Trossard on the right, I think, Martinelli on the left, and then Havertz up top. Not really, as I said, any other options. You could potentially play Trossard as a central striker. We've seen him playing that false nine role before and take Havertz out the firing line a little bit, but I don't think Mikel Arteta will do that. I think he'll back Kai Havertz. I think he'll put him straight in the start, back in the starting 11, and back him to go on the pitch and score a goal. And I think it's the right call. I think Havertz has to start. You need that focal point up front. And I think it has to be Havertz tonight. So that's my predicted 11. I've gone Raya, Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, Lewis, Skelly, Partey, Odegaard, Rice, Trossard, Havertz, and Martinelli. And here's what a few of you have been saying. Olo up the top there says this week could yet turn out to be good. Liverpool, City, Chelsea all drop points and Zubimendi coming to Arsenal. Now a good win over Spurs and a forward signing can completely change the mood. Come on, you Gunners. That's from Femi. Thank you very much for that. Aaron says, hey, Charles, a bit early. North London Derby lineup expectations. Maybe we'll go like this. Raya, Partey, Saliba, Gabriel, and Tierney. Rice, Odegaard, Marino, Trossard, Havertz, and Sterling. You say MLS played a lot during the FA Cup and surely needs some rotations. Same goes for Martinelli. I think Tierney is ahead in the pecking order of left backs. Judging from Zinchenko's Dortmund transfer rumour, he might not play this game. Mikel said Timber is fine, but I think he'll play Partey at right back just to make sure everyone is safe. Up front, Sterling deserves his place after the FA Cup performance, and Trossard will rotate with Martinelli. No other options as Jesus is out injured. We do look very short. P.S. That Zubimendi transfer out of the blue reminded me of the Vieira transfer. Of course, it needs to be finished, but nice job for the summer where we have to recruit at least two midfielders. Kind of getting why Ito has admirers at Arsenal. He's done a job that Edu, Man City, Liverpool, and Barcelona all failed to do. This has been something that's been going on a while, talks with Zubimendi. This interest dates back a long time. So I don't think it's just necessarily that Jason has come in and proved to be the difference maker in getting it over the line if it happens. I think there's a lot of work that's been gone on. And people like, certainly Mikel Arteta is right at the top of, if Zubimendi signs, Mikel Arteta will be right at the top of the reasons why. But I think Edu as well would have put in some of the groundwork while he was still at the club. Sodi says, I'll start Trossard as centre forward against Spurs, Martinelli on the left and Sterling on the right. Partey, Rice, Odegaard midfield, Gabby, Saliba, MLS and Timber back four. Thank you very much, you guys, for your suggestions ahead of tonight's game. And just quickly before we head off today, Dubai could now be an option. Obviously, Arsenal going out in the FA Cup with that defeat against Manchester United. That potentially leaves a sort of week-long period without a game for Arsenal over the FA Cup fourth round weekend, dependent on the Champions League. If Arsenal go straight through and don't have to play the sort of qualifier or whatever it is you want to call the playoff, if Arsenal can finish in the top 8, which they've got a good opportunity to do, then there's going to be like a 10-day period without a game over the sort of fourth round weekend of the FA Cup, which obviously is a good opportunity to get off, go to Dubai, enjoy some sunshine, enjoy a bit of a rest, and hopefully do what you did last season when that Dubai trip sparked Arsenal into life in the second half of the season. Mikel was asked about it. It says, we are looking at that now. Okay, the FA Cup is gone, so how can we optimise the situation in the best possible way? So we're looking at options. The calendar and the fixtures are a bit dependent on what happens in the Champions League. So we're looking and trying to plan the options on the importance of having a break during a packed calendar. He says, we knew that, and when we were involved in all the competitions, we were prepared for it, and we're going to face it. That is it. There's no doubt that Arteta would love to get the squad over to Dubai. He loves it over there. He loves everything about it, the setting, what it allows him to do, the squad bonding that he does over there. And he would jump at the opportunity to be able to do that again. And I'm sure the players would love it as well. So wait and see. As he said, and as I've said, it kind of is dependent on what happens in the Champions League. So that will become clearer over the next couple of weeks or so. Right, that is it from me today, everyone. Thank you very much for your time. Like I said, I'm not in the press box today. I'm in the stands, so there's going to be no live match updates from the game. I'm not going to do a video after the game as well because it'll be so late by the time I come out there. So I'll just do it tomorrow, the normal reaction show, hopefully to a very good win. You want to get involved in that, come back to this video after the full-time whistle tonight. Give me your thoughts on the performance, on who impressed you, who didn't, on the result, on the game, any of the big talking points. I'll pull them together and get them included in tomorrow's show. Until then, enjoy the game later, everyone. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.